If you're looking to level up your pot of pho, you are in the right place because in this video, I'm going to walk you through how to make a great pot of pho and sharing my tips, my tricks that I picked up from the vendors here in Vietnam and talking to other chefs about how to make a great bowl of pho. So let's quickly go over the ingredients before we start cooking. Here I have knuckle bones, marrow bones, and a couple of pieces of beef bones that has been soaking overnight to help draw out the impurities. For my proteins, I'm going to keep it simple today. I am only using beef brisket with a touch of that fat cap, along with beef, thin sliced beef in Vietnamese. It is called broth, so I'm using this, and then beef meatballs. Moving along to my herbs and aromatics, I am using onions, ginger, shallots, 2 kind of rock sugars, coriander seed, fennel seed, star anise, black cardamom, cinnamon, and a small amount of clove. And you can't forget sea salt. Here I have bean sprouts, green onions, cilantro, Thai basil, culantro, and a touch of rice paddy herb. And this here is something that you don't hear about it too often. It is a if you know ingredient, and I will share more about this later on in the video, but this right here is what will give your pho that extra touch of umami. This pot of pho, it is not a 24-hour simmer. It's a little closer to 6 to 8 hours, but even 6 to 8 hours, it's still a very, very long project. So with that being said, let's get started. So first things first, when it comes to the bones, I'm soaking these in cold water for a couple of hours. This helps to pull out the impurities before we even start cooking. After that, we're gonna blanch them. Cover the bones with water, bring it up to a boil for about 5 to 10 minutes. As impurities rise to the surface, go ahead and skim and remove them from the pot. Then dump everything out, rinse the bones, and scrub them clean. Take a quick second to clean the pot as well, then add the bones back in. I know this feels like extra work, but this is what gives you a clean broth. If you skip this step, your broth can turn cloudy and have that off flavor. Now add new water into the pot and bring it up to a gentle simmer, not a hard boil, and this is really important. If you boil it too aggressively, the fat breaks down into the broth and makes it cloudy. We want the opposite. We want a broth that is light, clear, and clean. So keep it at a low simmer, skim anything that rises to the top, and let it go for about 8 hours. For the brisket, we're gonna quickly blanch it in a pot of salted water for about 5 minutes just to keep everything clean. Then at around the 4-hour mark, I'll add it into the broth along with the rock sugar and sea salt. This starts to lightly season the broth as it continues to cook. So growing up in California, this is the only rock sugar that was available in supermarkets, and this is the only rock sugar that I've known and that I've used for all of my broths and my previous pho recipe. But until I got to sit down with Kai in my last video, I found out about these other 2 types of rock sugar to use in my pho broth. So why rock sugar instead of granulated sugar? Rock sugar basically gives you a rounder, smoother finish versus granulated sugar. So this white rock sugar gives you a really clean and clear taste so that that beefiness could come through. And then why brown sugar versus white rock sugar? Well, brown rock sugar is used for a more warmer notes. The color, the taste has a slight molasses finish, but this right here, because I'm not roasting my bones in this recipe, this will determine and give my broth that slight brown hue. And that is a quick explanation on why I'm using 2 types of sugar instead of 1 sugar. Now for the flavor, the soul of the pot, the onion, ginger, shallot. Char these until they're nicely blackened. You can use the torch like I'm doing here, or char them over an open flame or in a pan. This adds depth and a little smokiness to the broth. For the ginger, I like to rinse it off after charring, just to clean off any harsh, burnt notes. Then the spices. Toast them briefly to wake up all of its aroma. Then place them into a sachet, and here's the key. We don't add this at the beginning. This goes in during the last hour because pho for me isn't meant to be spice forward. The spices should sit in the background supporting the beef. Okay, this part is completely optional. If you have sasum or dried peanut worms, you could add it into your broth. It's a traditional ingredient that adds a really deep layer of umami, but I did include it in the base recipe because it's honestly pretty hard to source. If you do have it, here's how to prep it. Trim off the ends, cut it open down the center, and clean out all the sand inside. Then lightly toast it to bring out the aroma. Add it to a sachet and drop it into the broth at the same time as your spices. Again, optional, but it's one of those ingredients that can really elevate your broth if you can get your hands on it. Now, after all of those steps, we move on to seasoning. Strain everything out. You should have a clean broth at this point. You're aiming for about 5 liters of broth with a little bit extra on the side in case you need to adjust. From here, we season in stages. Salt and a little bit of MSG, let it settle, then adjust. Don't dump all the salt in at once. And your broth, it should taste slightly saltier than you expect. Before serving, I like to add a little bit more scallion into the broth along with the beef meatballs so that they can start heating up. Now that we have everything ready to go, I think it's time to put together our bowl, or my bowl of pho, because obviously you can't taste it. But yeah, I'm starving. Let's go. Blanch your noodles just until they loosen up. Into the bowl, we have our noodles, raw sliced beef, the sliced brisket, beef ribs, your onions, then ladle in your hot broth. Make sure to get some of that meatball as well. And that's pretty much it. At the end of the day, pho is all about balance. You're not trying to make it overly intense or heavy. You want it clean, slightly sweet from all the bones, and savory, where everything works together and nothing overpowers the broth. Oh my God, I'm so excited. My total cook time for this was 8 hours, but I am starving. I'm so excited. So excuse me. First taste. Wow, it hits the spot, and I'm not joking. Wow. All right, let's get into this. When it comes to dips, I like to have my dip on the side, a little bit of sriracha, a little bit of hoisin, lime juice. Now for my pho, let's go for the herbs. Couple of sprigs of rice patty herbs, cilantro, Thai basil. First you pluck off the leaves, then I like to give it all a rip, and then all of that goes in. Now, usually I like my bean sprouts blanched, but right now I'm just gonna focus on this bowl. Oh yeah. Love some thin sliced beef. Dip in my sriracha hoisin sauce, lime juice dipping sauce. Oh man. Oh, get some of that broth. So worth it. I hope that you get to give this recipe a try, because for me, that's my ideal bowl of pho. Something that's warm, something that's nourishing, and a bowl that really hits you in the soul. But with that being said, I know this recipe is a little bit extensive. I know that pho is a time commitment, but once you get the techniques down, it will get easier as you continue to get your reps in. Just like Kai said, the more reps you do, the better you'll get. I really hope you get to give this recipe a try. If you don't have access to the peanut worm, if you don't have access to the dried peanut worms, you can totally omit it. Your pot of pho will be completely fine. You don't need it. Having it is just a plus. But man, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll catch you on the next video.